Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to UX, and this is F-22's get pulled from Super Bowl flyover. Then this happened. F-22 Raptors were pulled from the Super Bowl Alex flyover at the last minute due to increased operational tempo. Replaced by F-15C amid heightened Middle East. Are you telling me F-22's are going to Middle East? Okay. Maybe it's my bias, but I think F-22 is more badass mechanically than F-35s. F-35s are more advanced electronically and everything because they're modern planes. 5-6 F-35s are too powerful, but single-handedly. One by one, F-22 is the most powerful there is, 5th gen plane. These are the air dominance plane. F-15s are great. F-22s are much better, right? And I know F-15s can hold probably more payload, but F-22s can do that as well outside. And yeah, stealth gets compromised, but let's not get it twisted. F-22 is much more precise. Flyby, like wires and shit like that. It's much more precise than F-15, so it's just better overall. It's going to be interesting. Let's waste one.
Super Bowl 60 is about to go down in a few hours from the time of this video being released. It's happening at Levi's Stadium in California on February 8th, 2026. And the military flyover practice has been very interesting, and it's definitely turned some heads for some different reasons. The U.S. Air Force had originally planned to send a pair of F-22 Raptors to lead or at least join in on the actual flyover itself during the anthem, showcasing 5th gen air power right alongside the Navy's F-35Cs, which are also 5th gen. But at the last minute, those Raptors got yanked. It's like the star of the show, the VIP, the starting quarterback, gets pulled. They're saying that they will be replaced with F-15C Eagles from the California Air National Guard. Not a bad substitution, in my opinion, but I'm obviously biased here. And the official line from the Air Force is that operational tempo increased and the F-22s were needed for real-world assignments. They didn't say exactly where or what. Of course, you got to keep that close to the chest, but the timing lines up perfectly with the major U.S. military buildup.
What could it be, I wonder? I don't know. Aliens? F-22s went out to fight aliens. What else could it be?
In the Middle East, specifically for Iran operations, as the rhetoric coming out of Iran heats up more and more. Talks have happened in Oman, supposedly more talks happening next week. However, Iran has drawn a fresh new line, saying that they will not get rid of their nuclear refinement program. And these talks in Oman are happening underneath the shadow of last year's strikes on the Iranian nuclear sites. So to me, this isn't just a scheduling hiccup, or it wasn't just, well, we're gonna need those after all. No, this is a calculated move to make sure that the F-22s are there, ready to go should anything turn hot in the Middle East. This is a quiet signal that the highest end jets in the inventory are being held back for something real world should things actually go kinetic for Iran.
I love that visual.
Are being held back for something.
Look at that. 2 flaming red jets you can see like that. Yeah, this is signature F-22. The way it looks, right?
Real world should things actually go kinetic for Iran. So stick around to the end of this video because I'll walk you through a realistic what if on how those F-22s could actually be used in a high threat scenario happening in the Middle East, even though I would love to see them flying over Super Bowl 60. At this point, higher priority missions and tensions in the Middle East, in my opinion, are pulling them away from that. And then I'll get to the actual crux of who I think will win the Super Bowl. So stay to the very end for that. And this is basically a plot line for Top Gun Maverick 3, where Maverick or one of the other pilots gets pulled from an air show because a real world fight is going down. But the context here is getting wild, and Iran in the Persian Gulf is getting a little bit handsy with what we've seen over the past few weeks, actually testing the defenses of the USS Abraham Lincoln, and right now in the middle of renewed indirect nuclear talks in Oman. It started just over the last few days and is said to be playing out over the next few weeks with more talks being scheduled. But Iran, again, doubling down, saying that enrichment is non-negotiable and that they'll hit U.S. bases if they're attacked. Tensions are high, obviously, you know, that massive war that went down in 2025, the Israel-Iran war, and U.S. strikes on the nuclear facilities. Iran's asymmetric playbook hasn't changed, and it's ready to go at any moment. Again, another reason why it's good to have these Raptors in theater and in a position where they can actually be on the chessboard and not taking days to get into position. But Iran's position hasn't changed.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be on a carrier, because I don't think F-22s can fly from carriers. It has to be in a base like Qatar or something, right? I mean, it doesn't have that long of a range. That's the whole problem of F-22. That's why F-47 is instrumental for Pacific, right? So I don't know how much of range. Can you put this near India, where that island, right? I keep forgetting the name, in South India, like in Indian Ocean, right? You have the island where you put like B-2s and shit. Like, you can fly from there. I don't know. I think it's going to be close to like Qatar or something, right?
Changed, right? They're focused on the Shahed 136 and 139 drones, which can be launched in waves. So if those waves go down, even just having the F-22 radars up above, passing different information and passing targeting to F-15Es, to F-16s, to F-18s, other fourth generation assets is really important. I've flown with the APG-82. It's an ASA radar. I flew with it in the F-15E, and the way that that thing can see the battle space is just massively impressive. And then you stack on top of that the Raptors advanced ASA radar, and you've really got radars up in the sky that a massive drone swarm could never hide from. And that's incredibly important when you're going up against hundreds of these drones. And again, Iran has said they have moved thousands to frontline units, and a lot of these drones will fly low, some of them will fly high, some of them will use GPS spoofing. The cheap decoys that they have will try to saturate different radars. So again, having the big heavy hitters in the region, even though it would be awesome to have them at the Super Bowl, it makes a little more sense to have them sitting alert, having them ready to go in case Iran gets a little bit too big for their britches. Also, Iran's got those IRGC fast boat swarms that we've seen harass oil tankers in the last week in the Straits of Hormuz. What they would try to do is overwhelm larger ships, even trying to go in and strike U.S. naval assets with just sheer numbers at this point. They've also got them loaded down with rockets, and they're hiding anti-ship missiles. The air defense systems team up with those boats, and so being able to target the boats, pass information about them, and actually target the air defense systems at the same time.
F-22s has been used as attack planes in the past in Middle East. So they could technically use F-22s like that. I don't know. I don't think they're going to risk F-22s for shit like that. There's F-15s are there. I think this is like bad scenario where like proper full-blown war, like Ukraine-Russia thing. But with Iran, okay, we are going, so maybe you'll need F-22.
That's something that not a lot of jets can do, but the Raptor has a lot of capabilities that haven't been released, and if I was a betting man, I would say that would be a snooze. That would be an average everyday Tuesday for the F-22 Raptor that could go up there and actually do both of these missions at the same time. And Iran has had Russian and Chinese cargo planes flying missions into Tehran itself, supposedly, and this is just a rumor, dropping off advanced surface-to-air radar systems, even dropping off missiles, adapting.
See, I was saying that few days ago. At the time this information wasn't out, and I'm like, that kind of makes sense, right? Like, you know, China basically doing that. They can like, oh, we're just supplying our friend. What's wrong with that? Oh, with the delivery was overdue anyway. Shit like that. So they probably want to test how their Chinese anti-defense things work against America, and this would be perfect opportunity because Taiwan is a hot topic. Even recently, talk between Xi Jinping and Trump, the majority of focus from Xi Jinping was about Taiwan. Well, Trump wasn't even talking about it. Trump was talking about something else, and Xi Jinping was like, no, let's talk about Taiwan. So that's instrumental for them. So they want to probably test how F-22 and everything works against that.
The S-300, trying to get their S-300s to a point where they say, and China says, could actually see stealth aircraft, but basically beefing up the homegrown radars and the homegrown systems of Iran. That's kind of the specialty of what China is doing right now, so they can keep that sweet, sweet crude from Iran flowing into China. And then electronic warfare, adapting the jammers, bringing in decoy emitters to try to confuse incoming strikes, All these different things are what China is focused on. And again, China likes the idea of testing their advanced equipment versus the US's equipment as well. And in that recent incident where the F-35 shot down the drone, it just shows that Iran is probing and testing defenses. It's just really interesting to me. Yeah, we're about to go into nuclear talks. Let's launch a drone directly at the carrier and see what happens. It's kind of them trying to have sharp elbows, trying to show that, hey, we're a contender here and we have military power as well. And they're constantly probing. That's one of the things that Iran is going to try to do at this point right now, is constantly probe and try to see where the defenses stand for the US. Every move here is about testing reactions, gathering intel, and keeping pressure on while these talks continue. So it just makes sense to me for the US to have these Raptors, to have these advanced defenses ready to go and come in hot should things get kinetic. And that's kind of a compliment, right? It's like a version of a humble brag. They're like, yeah, we were going to send the F-22 Raptor, but we've actually got real things to take care of. We've actually got to go to work. We can't actually just be there looking pretty, doing loops to music, even though that's fun. 2 Pratt & Whitney F-119 engines power the F-22, and each of those delivers 35,000 pounds of thrust with afterburner, pushing Super Cruise capabilities above Mach 1.5, which is just wild. I mean, the engineering behind that F-22, it can't be understated how awesome.
Super Cruise at that speed is stupidity, right? Imagine that in work, right? You're super cruising. You're not even using afterburners, right? And that's the speed.
That is, that thing can get up to about 1,200 miles per hour or more without afterburner. That's just insane. I mean, thinking about the top speed of around Mach 2.25 is just mind-blowing as well. Combat radius of about 600.
I've heard people talk about accounts of people saying like this can do much higher than that. 2.25 is just like kinda like, yes, we feel comfortable about. Pilots have done probably higher numbers than that in a test. And pilots, I'm pretty sure I remember this, pilots even said like it can probably go even higher. It wasn't even stressing. So I won't be surprised if this can go much higher, like 2.5 plus Mach.
100 nautical miles, but then it stretches much further with that external fuel when needed. Stealth, Super Cruise, thrust vectoring, AN/APG-77 ASA radar. It makes it the ultimate in air dominance, the ultimate big swing, and you know what, alpha king predator of the sky. Because if you can see first, then you can shoot first, and then if you can disappear after that, it's really hard to compete with anything up in the sky at this point going up against the F-22, and that includes surface-to-air missiles as well. And you can also pair up that F-22 with F-35Cs that are actually in the region. They're flying off of the USS Abraham Lincoln, but there are some F-35Cs that are available. Those will be flying in the air show itself. That's the naval variant for carrier operations, so there is going to be some 5th gen at the Super Bowl itself. So for all of you out there who wanted the F-22 at the Super Bowl, don't worry, there's still an F-35 to step in, kind of like the F-22's little brother to step in and say, hey, I'm here representing the big dog. And then the EA-18G Growler would team up with the F-22 in the Middle East as well for jamming support, and F-15Es and B-2s would likely be a part of a heavy strike package going into Iran. But again, you need to protect all those different assets. And as we saw in Venezuela, F-22s involved in that strike as well. So again, having the F-22 up there, it just gives you that warm feeling that you're protected. You've got that angel above you who's looking out for you, who's trying to do everything they can to keep any other asset from getting hit. So having the F-22s in theater in the Middle East, it just means that the US is really focused on holding air superiority, escorting bombers, sanitizing the airspace is one of the biggest things. So just sanitizing it, knowing exactly what's going on at all times. Really, there's no other fighter.
Yeah, I think, Trump probably gave a command to his generals like, okay, things are ramping up, do your thing, rather than, oh, we need an operation. That's how Maduro was. That's how, like a midnight hammer was with Iran. This time it's not about operation, it's about preparation. Increase your readiness in Middle East. What is the Middle East command you have there? Like probably to like increase your thing, and told general to strategize. And so this is why things are like, oh, let's move F-22s. Probably thinking long term and everything. War readiness, because if war readiness has to be there for America. If it's not, and they suddenly get caught, that would be biggest ridicule there is, because it's America. So they would never do that. So this is readiness. I think they're just increasing F-22s there. They'll keep increasing numbers there.
second to none. So being able to sanitize and see where the different drones are going to blast off from and launch from in Iran, that's one of the main focuses of the F-22, and having it there is really smart. Again, there likely would be strikes on Iranian hard targets, so you got to bring in the big guns. You got to bring in the B-2, and protecting the B-2, that $2 billion bomber with a B, I mean, just insane. The low numbers of that B-2 means that you really have to focus on not letting any of them get struck. So if you have the F-22 there, it teams up really well with that B-2 to make sure that it's protected, and really highly focused on the high value targets would likely be the #1 mission of the F-22. The F-22 is essentially like a fighter jet that has an Iron Man suit built around it. It's ready to go at any point, and it's ready to react to any situation that Iran could throw at it. And F-22s carry a mix of internal and external weapons, depending on the mission itself, depending on what they're actually being asked to do. Internally, they haul up to 6 AIM-120 AMRAAMs for beyond visual range kills, and 2 AIM.
You know what? Yeah, F-47 prototypes are already there, if I remember correctly. Like they're already working on it, and prototype is made. If that's the case, if prototype is ready, like, oh, this is what we're probably gonna put in production. This is final. It's prototype. Trump would say, fuck it, send that prototype in Middle East. Let's test real time. And F-47's range supposed to be so long. Yeah, it'll just fly there. Fuck it, like B-2s. Fly to Middle East. There you go. Do your shit and come back. There you go. Demonstrate in 6th gen. Screw F-22. Let's bring F-47. That would be insane. I don't think that's how military works. That would be too risky and stupid. Hey, Trump can do it. Fuck it. Send it there. There you go. It's my F-47. I'll set it.
9X sidewinders.
Just 47th president, yeah.
Close in work if needed. You could use those against high-level drones, but again, you would typically want those drones to be taken out by laser-guided rockets being fired off the F-15E. You don't want to waste the F-22's metal on going up against a $50,000 Shahed drone from Iran, and you want to keep that F-22 as stealthy as possible.
I'm pretty sure they use F-22's, right? F-22's against Chinese balloons, so why the fuck not? Why the fuck not drones?
And only use it if you absolutely need to protect some sort of high value asset. So when stealth isn't the priority though, the F-22s, the F-35s, they can hang external tanks, or they could hang cruise missiles off of the wings. And the F-22 going in, releasing the cruise missiles, getting those off the rail, getting those headed towards the targets they need to be going towards. And then you have a stealth asset ready to go. That's just massive capability. And it's what's called a multiplier. So the fact that that radar is so powerful, it can team up with E-2D Hawkeyes and other AWACS, airborne warning and control system assets, to target aircraft real time, pumping targeting data to F-15s, to A-10s, knowing exactly where the drone swarms are coming from, knowing the drone highways that are being pumped towards whatever type of assets Iran is trying to hit. The F-22 is going to pick that up, and the F-22 is going to be able to send that information to other assets, which is huge, which is why the Raptor can brag. The Raptor is like one of the fighter jets that basically can just walk up there and be like, yeah, I know I'm awesome. I really don't have to say a thing, because the Raptor knows where these threats are before they even light up, before they even turn up.
F-35's biggest strength is his electronic networking and all that, right? F-22's is like ability, like mechanical and physical abilities. I can just think F-22 pulling up. What's up, nerds? Looking at F-35 and everybody F-35. Oh, man, here he comes. Yeah, I'm the heavyweight here with 2 engines. Basically with muscles and shit. There you go.
On, the Raptor's capability is there, and it can focus on suppression of enemy air defenses, or SEAD, since I know you guys were waiting on that acronym. They can do escort missions for the B-2, for the B-1, for B-52s, and then they can tie in those JASSMs that can be launched off of their wings, or actually pumping targeting information to the JASSMs that are being fired off of a B-1 or an F-15E. That's just incredible capability, and it maximizes.
Is it just me? Why this feels so insane?
A B-1 or an F-15.
It feels like a shaped small drone or plane, but it's a fucking missile. That's the modern missiles for you.
That's just incredible capability, and it maximizes the capability of other assets. So these other assets don't have to have the F-22 radar themselves. They can just be using the information coming from that F-22 radar, which is awesome. Again, against drone swarms, this is huge. And then protection of the ships themselves. Because again, different anti-ship missiles could be launched from those Iranian fast boats, and the F-22 being able to see those fast boats, get the Navy's eyes tuned into them.
You can fucking see shockwaves. I love it.
And the F-22 being able to see those fast.
Look at it. There you go. Look at the shockwave going. Damn, this looks so good.
Get the Navy's eyes tuned into them even more than they already are. I mean, the Navy's capability with their radars and their Aegis combat system is massive, but the F-22 just gives another perspective. It gives the Navy a high ground to see even more what threats could be coming in to strike the actual carrier and strike group itself. To me, the F-22 is straight out of Call of Duty. One silent, guided shot threads the needle and could take down an entire defense structure for Iran. That's just next level.
I don't think that's a good analogy. F-22 is not a sniper. I think it's your heavyweight soldier rather than a sniper. Sniper implies like it's just one shot thing from a distance. I don't know. F-22 can maneuver, it's air dominant, so it can do many things. From distance, from close up, it's twin jet, it can maneuver faster. The point of air dominance is one of the priorities, like, can it like make heavy turns? I don't know how else to say that. Can it make like a high angle turns? And F-22 has insane angles, even compared to something like F-15 or something, right? So it's much better in air dominance, like in air. There is not going to be a dogfight, but it can even do dogfight if it wanted to. So it's not a sniper. It's literally your most badass, most heavy ability soldier with a proper assault rifle. Scar-H, heavy ammo assault rifle that can still do long distance damage or close distance.
Capability. So for the 4D chess section, let's talk about pulling the F-22s from the Super Bowl flyover, because obviously Iran's going to see that, right? They're sitting there watching. I think I heard they're cheering for the Seahawks. Not exactly sure, but they're going to be out there watching and seeing, where are these F-22s going? Why are they pulling them from the Super Bowl? So again, this is a bit of a PR win, right? Because it's a subtle signal to Iran and everyone watching that the highest end U.S. assets are on alert and ready to move, if not in the Middle East already. And the build up.
Okay, B-21 is also has been in testing phase for a long time now, implying there are one or two at least prototype working. Send B-21s, fuck it. Like, why do you need a proper working thing? Like, oh, this is first B-21. No, prototypes are working. That is what's going to be in production. Fuck it, send that.
Up around the Gulf, the carrier strike group,
I know this is all
teamed up
stupid,
with these
but still.
F-22s, really sends a message to Iran. Oh, cool. We want to fly your drones around and find out? No worries. We'll just send our F-22 over there to track every single movement of all of these drones. And again, knowing that this area is an entire flashpoint right now with these talks going down.
F-47 better have lasers in it. And I mean the videos that I've reacted to in recently, that decent people watched it. That was a surprise to me. But yeah, like shotgun one, right? Microwave shotgun type weapon, proper helios type laser weapon, fitted on it somehow for defense. Let's say something gets close, it's not gonna. Let's say it does. You don't have to waste ammo. You just like electric damage, some kind of an EMP damage. The close quarter can just disable everything, right? Like drones and shit. It has to have that if it's gonna be for the next like 30, 40 years. I think it's modular, so even if it's not in future, it will be.
With what it looks like red lines being drawn on either side, sending the message to the top level leadership in Iran that, hey, the top level jets, F-22s, are there. We're not playing around. So at this point, it could just be holding the line until Iran folds and showing Iran that real deterrence is in the region and you shouldn't mess around, because these F-22s are ready to go in the blink of an eye. And that leads us to the hypothetical situation. So let's say that the negotiations fail, and luckily these F-22s are already in the region, and then Iran blasts their massive drone swarm towards the USS Abraham Lincoln. 4 F-22s would be airborne pretty much immediately. They would already be the airborne on-site commander directing all the different fighters around them and then passing off anything they didn't want to track to AWACS or to E-2D Hawkeyes, but really focusing in on the exact...
I love F-22, obviously, but wouldn't it be F-35, which is the commander, because it has better electronics, better radar, and just better overall connectivity, right? F-22 has limitations. This is why they are not restarting it and making F-47, right? Like they're planning to upgrade it, but it's like it's really hard. F-35 is newer and better in a way, in electronically wise. So I think it would be F-35 who's doing all this communication thing, if it had to be that. I don't know.
threats, and honing in and focusing on any of the missiles that Iran could launch towards the US bases, tracking those and pumping that tracking information to different assets that need it. That's just massive. And what they could also do is be doing suppression of enemy air defenses to confuse Iran, take down the C2, the command and control, and make sure that Iran is focused on a defensive posture, since Iran knows these F-22's are up there and can essentially do their bidding with their APG-77 radar. So obviously the US is staying quiet on the specifics of where these F-22's may be going, but in my opinion, this is a great reinforcement for the deterrence that's already in the region. What do you guys think? Do you think these F-22's are headed directly to Iran? Where do you think they're going? And what do you think we could see out of them?
I mean, there is literally no reason to pull out from Super Bowl. I mean, you already have 35, so it's not like, oh, it's a threat to keep it at Super Bowl because of like, I don't know, like conflict and pressure, so we should preserve it. They're not preserving F-35s. So I don't think it's that. I think it's going to Middle East theater. This is right. It feels right. We'll never know until something happens, and probably nothing will happen at that scale because these are mostly deterrence through power. That's what USA does, and that is what this is. So we'll probably never know, but who knows, like maybe. All right. There you go, people. If you liked my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe so I know which type of videos to react to more. Definitely check out other reaction I did recently. There's a link in the description or end card right now, and I'll see you next time.